Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the TechGuy podcast, episode number 28. And one thing I have understand over the past couple of months of at least doing these podcasts into the tech, at least doing these things, journaling and doing research about something, is the companies are, so really good with the talk, especially the public talk, the SAM, you know Sam Altman, who basically handles all the OpenAI, ChatGPT, everything there, you know, they are really awful at and really insanely good at dodging the questions, I will say, which are important questions. When I was watching Cleo's video about she did an interview of about 1 hour with Sam Altman, and one of the most two major important questions about AI, which is everyone is concerned about, which is everyone having right now and needs to answer it, and how we are going to solve that issue is how he easily dodged those two questions. I'm like, wow, just didn't even answer it like that. The way he cope out of that whole situation is like really insane you know and I'm like, why? You are the person who is handling one of the biggest companies right now, who is changing the course of the tech industry, at least right now, and future people's lives will be changed with the tech you are trying to bring it in the world. And one of the important questions in this whole AI era about whatever, like we will talk about that definitely when we'll talk about ChatGPT 5. He just doesn't answer it. Like, he's really good at dodging it, But you know, so we will talk more in depth about those what are those two questions? What are my thoughts regarding ChatGPT 5? What is ChatGPT 5 even offering new into this actually? What are the safety measures they are taking? Because we know what happened last time when they launched ChatGPT 4.0 and what kind of behavior it did, and they had to take it back because of it. We will also talk about some new messaging app being developed by ex-co-founder of Twitter, which is Jack. Then we will talk about some news regarding social media ban from Australia, which has not taken, which we have given some regarding news. I think we will talk about that is YouTube getting included in the ban, and we will also talk about something regarding that whole ban situation again, because I have covered a whole Australia social media banning for especially for teenagers couple of times, like in the last past 6 months. So if you want to know more about it, you can definitely check out the older videos. uh, then we will talk more about then we will talk more about ChatGPT 5 later. Then we will also talk about some small things, like how Meta Mark Zuckerberg is trying to be personal superintelligence. You know, nothing much there to talk about that much, but we will talk. So let's just get started with the episode number 28 of the Tech Guy podcast. Let's talk about first, I think, the messaging app, the new message app that has been developed by Jack, and which is obviously again open sourced, because this is kind of a project I think is done just for creating a web. We will talk about it more, but it is called Bitchat. It is officially available in iOS. So if you are an iPhone user, it is available in App Store. But for Android users, it is still not available in Play Store. But if uh, you can go to GitHub and download the APK file of basically the Bitchat that people are basically developing it. And yeah, within open source, obviously it is open source, people are constantly developing there, so you can get the latest APK file. If you are an Android user, it is officially not available in Play Store right now, but it's just a rough idea of what the conceptual idea of that whole thing. So it's not like kind of a different revolutionary thing. What he's trying to do, he's trying to bring something different and trying to, like I said before, trying to create a trend towards something which is according to the situation that is happening within political range, with bans of social media apps, and even social media apps getting more and more restrictions. I think this will emerge more and more. So Bitchat is basically a messaging app, peer-to-peer messaging app, which basically uses Bluetooth, nothing more. It doesn't use Wi-Fi. It doesn't need even the internet. So if you know how peer-to-peer works, so basically it's like, again, in the Bluetooth era, it's like it works within only with the Bluetooth devices. It creates mesh network. Basically, if you have ever used a Wi-Fi router in your home, it just creates how the mesh networks is created within your home, or using routers and whole modems. Just like that, I think that's the simple way to put it, how Bluetooth network is going to work. So again, it is a Bluetooth network. It is not works on internet. So it is not made for messaging anyone around the world, not even messaging about people in your own city also. It is a messaging app who are nearby, only like 100 meter, 200 meter. Like now Bitchat promises, I think it does messaging up to 300 meters, which is again really promising, really too much over, I will say, because Bluetooth doesn't have that much kind of a share, and not all people will use it, obviously. But use case is different. Its use case is definitely niche. Like, just remember, whenever there is bans of internet around you, internet is banned regarding whatever the protests are happening, whatever the situations, depending upon the country, it happens. Or even in the disasters zones where the internet is actually down, or even in the crowded area where the network doesn't at all work because how much crowded the area is, or even at the concerts, like that is a crowded area. So to connect with the person, that is just an app which will use Bluetooth. Now you can connect it and have a personal chat with someone that is peer to peer, or you can create channels, basically like how groups are basically in any other messaging apps. You can create channel and have a group chat in between, within that network specifically. So its use case is niche. It is been uh, it's not the first of its kind of this app. There are other apps like Bridgify, where it those kind of apps are more used, where there are lots of bans regarding messaging app in countries like China, you can say, where or even countries, or even like where people want to use a networking where it doesn't net, depending upon, even in those areas. So it is that kind of an app. So it is kind of a niche, not kind of a big thing here. The reason we are talking here, and the reason everyone is talking here, is because it is done by Jack Dorsey. He is the ex co-founder of Twitter. When someone this big influence, obviously, who had on the internet for the past decades, like decade at least, you can obviously look up to those person, what they are doing right now with the tech and what they are coming up. So when he made this kind, the buzz got around and people are like, what is he trying to make? So like he created a buzz regarding the Bitchat, which definitely, I will say, his ultimate motive was, I think, not ultimate, I'm trying to say is like, his motive was just to create something, ultimately to give what people idea of what are the other ways of messaging. I'm just speculating here what he's trying to do. He's trying to give other forms of communication in the tech that is right now. Bluetooth mesh interconnected can be get bigger and bigger ultimately in future. But right now what it is, again, just an idea which works in a really small area. Now what has happening for the last couple of months, where social medias, even like all social media, having to recognize people, or government forcing social media to get verification, and social media are getting uh, forcing people generally, like, to give their ID documentation to those platforms. So that's there, but the always the reason, but the problem here is about privacy. People are having concerns regarding not just giving your data to the company which you have to trust, that is a legal document, but the problem is people finding who are you actually on the internet. I don't want, like, it is so much easier happening nowadays, especially happening for years now, but companies, definitely their data gets leaked. So it's not will be easier, like, data will be getting leaked regarding certain companies, that especially even big companies that are leaks. So if that is not even safe, how are these big companies, like, when they ask your age verifications, how are the data, they are keeping our data safe? What is the age verification? Why do we even need it? And it's a classic strategy for governments to know who is that person is. So it's like it can go up to levels of stages to control people. That's a major concern about all this verification stuff is happening. That's why people diversifying with the messaging apps. That's why apps like Bitchat, or apps like Bridgify, where, or even apps like WhatsApp in India, where WhatsApp has strong policy regarding any kind of information from, at least from their side, even if the government or even court ask regarding a person. So some companies are definitely trying to have a kind of a strong, at least, step in towards privacy of people. So I hope that, and even they are advertising fully how WhatsApp, even YouTube, like everything, every social media platform is trying to just advertise how, you know they are strongly advertising how your messages, your photos, your video calls just keeps remains to your only to yourself. You can see it in TV ads here, in trying so hard to let people know that they care. And yeah, like it obviously WhatsApp will try to do it, because WhatsApp has one of the most biggest, largest audience from India only, mostly. So what I'm trying to say here, ultimately, with the BitChat app, or what this app did, and ultimately what others will be in future, where people will definitely have different kind of modes of communication in the app, in the messaging era, where people will use different kinds of messaging apps. How Telegram was accused of getting used by terrorist or organization which cause harms, basically not terrorist kind of an, like, goes to an insane thing, but within even organizations of people, which are causing protests, riots, harming people, a lot of other stuff. Telegram was accused to that, and that's why basically the Telegram CEO was arrested, first of all, in the last year, when we also talked about that. So what, it is kind of an getting forceful by the government, how they are trying to control it. And also the argument against it is again privacy and control of government over people, but that we definitely don't want. And that was the internet. Actually, what internet provides for the people is fear fiercely just say what they want, and also keep their thoughts openly. It's like kind of a freedom of speech kind of a question comes here. And this is the classic example of how government tries to ban something, government tries to implement something so harshly that people don't even get the chance to say anything in those kind of decisions. And in those harsh decisions, obviously, if people protest and people talk about it, and then government has to first of all back off. And if they don't back up, there are always alternate options, like this is kind of an alternate option where is going to come up in the future more and more, where people are going to use this option, where government is taking more and more control over your documents. You are getting age, who tracking that specific person, which is getting, which is just a start. These laws are just getting started, but we need to talk about it. And where this app made by Jack is just kind of a like buzz creator, like I said. Like, there will be apps in future, there will be like, WhatsApp didn't have this kind of stance regarding this kind of privacy, like, and complying with government every single time of whatever the information they want. People trust regarding those kind of messaging app. Like, I will be not using WhatsApp. Now, am I trying to do something bad with the WhatsApp? So you can't tell anything. It's ultimately what happens when you give people the freedom of do whatever they want, consent, or within these messaging apps. You don't interfere, first of all. So that's why there is always going to be bad people using this kind of technology to do harmful stuff, cause violent riots or different kind of stuff. But there is also another community there, so it's kind of an, always will be there will be always kind of an people. There is nothing you can do. So it's kind of an cost of giving people whatever they want to do with the technology when they are given to. So, and if you try to forcefully remove it, try to do something it, they will do towards it no matter what. And so there is always not this simple kind of a solution where this government is trying to do just banning everything, you know. And that is what is happening in Australia right now. First of all, for past last from last year, we are covering this whole social media ban in Australia, where they are trying to just totally ban social media websites, apps for teens, basically teenagers who are under 16. Up until 16, no one will have be use social media apps, basically. we have I have already covered this couple of times, and I have already said why and what the importance of social media app is, for not just for the teens but for everyone. But if you remove what social media and its benefit, like, there is always, like I said even before too, when this ban came up, when people will always talk about the negative aspect of the social media platform, which is there. I'm not denying it, and no one is denying it. But there is always positive aspects of it, and just banning of people, especially children who are in their teen age era, where you are telling them to not use those specific things or certain things. I don't think it is going to be really, really easy stuff for just like them to just accept it. People are going to find other ways, like I talked before. So I think not a good choice. At least where our teens right now, where our children's using website, like WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. These are like kind of a big platforms where ultimately majority of the people are. But if you just ban it totally and you don't know what and where their information is coming from, and where we live in the age of internet, where multiple kind of stuff can be happen, multiple ways are there to bypass everything. Now it's kind of an foolish way to think how ideally their whole solution will work. And now with the new update they have we have gotten from it, like YouTube is also getting included in the social media ban. And I was like, really, at first obviously I was pissed off by how they handled all social media bans, at least in the last year, where they talked about harmful stuff, where they talked about those kind of things. And it's ultimately to blame for those companies and for the lack of ignorance done by them. Like I talked about in the episodes about how Instagram was so ignorant over the past years, about how information should handle, about how especially for children's, how information or even there should be some kind of filter, there should be some kind of at least safety regarding it, has not been done. And when they launched the Instagram teens account, where we talked even before about it, is my major concern about it was, okay, you have launched it, it is good, but what's the point of now being launching it now? Because this problem is not just starting now. Just because a government is forcing you to do it, you should be talking about these problems, and you should be the solving about this problem, because it is happening in your own platform. you know you always talk about how platforms bring people together, connect, like whole motive of whole meta is to connect people, you know and if it is, why they were so ignorant, like. And the answer is simple. For the lot of period of time, these companies were just focused on making profit over concerns of regarding whatever happenings on the internet. And now the tide is shifting towards concerns, and also regarding governments are getting stricter. And because of this, I can say, like I said, both the parties, from the government side and the company side, both are taking, like I said, very ignorant. And now government is taking a stricter action against it, like banning it totally, which is kind of a dumb step, like we have already talked about. There are so many alternate good options, and now at least I'm glad that Instagram has doing something about it. So now let's talk about what YouTube is going to do. YouTube is again a video platform more than a social platform. Like I said, it is not, we cannot directly DM kind of and stuff. So that's there, like in any other social media platform. With YouTube getting included in the ban, they have said that they can still watch the video, but the accounts, and they cannot like they cannot comment or share those kind of videos. So basically it's kind of an, you can't interact with it, but you can watch those kind of videos you know so that's there, that is the whole point of YouTube will still be able to, they will still be able to get the account, but they can't just interact with, they can't have an account, so they can't basically comment or do kind of stuff, whatever the other stuff that you are interacting with others on the platform. So that is how they are going to implement the YouTube ban, and they included one of the most, like, one of the most really questionable things when it comes to ban. These people who are making policies, they don't specify what content is harmful specifically. They always suggest bullying, they always like cyber. These are some basic, obviously we know. But when it comes to YouTube is a consuming platform more than interacting platform, I will say. People comes to watch videos rather than messaging, doing something like that. So how are they gonna, first of all, implement what content is good and what content is not? You know, what is that misinformation they are talking, what is that disinformation they are talking, how you are going to judge it? And when the government has the power to judge, this video should not be able to watch by children, video will be watched, there is lot kind of blurred lines coming there. So just like that, like, what I'm ultimately trying to say with the all social media ban in the Australia that is happening, or the control what is government is trying to take, is ultimately the control over content. That is the main objective, kind of, and feels like the ultimate, like, who is stopping them from doing that? you know these are some really important questions that needs to be asked, that needs. And so according to the policy, the bill is already passed a couple of months ago. It is going to implement in the December 2025. And if there is fine, or like $5, $5 Australian dollar, $50 Australian dollar fine, who doesn't comply with it. And there is also fine with the companies who doesn't implement age verification, which is already a big issue. However, age verification is one of those things is really difficult to pull off. Couple of things that can be done when it comes to age verification, and also to kind of an extent towards parents, and they can how they can help in this whole situation. Age verification can be done by trusted sources like here in India, where the DigiLocker system is there, where we trust to keep our documents, which is obviously by government. So basically it's a government website, and a lot of companies, like whenever you want to create accounts, it gets your documents get verified through DigiLocker. DigiLocker is kind of, and you are connected where documents, so it's kind of an proof that whatever you upload in the DigiLocker is kind of an safe. I'm not saying it can be hacked, but like whatever, like whenever I'm making accounts, especially for stock market kind of a stuff, where those app I'm getting and creating a new account, uh, is linked with my account. So basically, the document is fetched from that website. So it is kind of an storage system is handled by all the government, and those apps where I want to create accounts uses links with those DigiLocker and gets the data from there to verify your documents and all that kind of stuff. So, so I think that is one way of doing age verification rather than giving your whole documents towards those websites, like you know giving your whole documents to all social media platforms. That is one thing. Another thing I think that can definitely happen is, rather than banning, creating a special account for just teens, and create a filter about making content. You know, I know there are certain certain distinct accounts or distinct kind of content which is definitely not for children. I know it, but the thing is, the line has been so that it is difficult to think that this is better for children to see and this is not, you know and the point is, what I'm trying to say here is, now nowadays children know more. 13, 14, 15 year, like till 16, know more about anything on the world that is going on the internet, that is going on, not just on internet but overall what is going on, more than when I was at that age. So the bar of information has gotten so low at the age of 10. Children know too much about stuff, so it is kind of an pointless to even filter out some stuff. So it is difficult to even filter out. What we can do, just give controls and few features to just keep them safe. you know get parents involved, get parents who are giving their child first of all phones and allowing them to create social media platform. Allow them, educate people. Like, see, one of the most simple things that you can do about any kind of situation in this especially is educating people, especially parents, regarding parental controls, whatever you can do on your children's phone. you know there are so many controls regarding child parental control, about how you can control child's phone. So you give whole power towards your parents, not the government. Not the government decides what children are going to watch or not. Not the companies are going to decide, but at least parents are going to decide for the children's what's the. I think that's the best possible way here I can see. Letting parents know their what children's are watching, children's what kind of accounts or what kind of feed they are getting, and just like that, at least there will be a known knowledge of what children are getting feed on the internet. and they can filter out whatever things they don't want their child, at least for now. What I'm trying to say here is ultimately you can't force someone to just don't do this or don't do that, especially at that age. I do feel like, you know, when you tell something to not to do, people, they definitely do it the opposite side, especially children's. So I hope they understand it, basic concept of how child behaves ultimately, how teenagers behave. So I hope, rather than forcing them to just totally ban it and not let them use it or controlling what they see, just let the parents, just you can just educate them. I think giving controls, giving as many as tools to parents, to them, to get, you know kind of an, like, away from the bad stuff, or you can say the things like cyberbullying kind of and stuff, how you can avoid those stuff. What I'm ultimately trying to say, you can ultimately give them tools, you can ultimately educate them, you can ultimate parents say whatever they want to say, but ultimately it's up to them what they are going to watch it. Like if you force them to just ban everything, I don't think it is going to be okay. There are going to be some children who are going to find another way to watch something they want to watch. They are going to watch, like, watch what is going to stop them just getting their parents phone, you know just getting another phone. You never know, there are a lot of things that can be, I will say, can be a lot of things that there are a lot of other ways in this whole situation can be done. So I think rather than going and banning something, I think the situation can be allowed and understand well by the people who are making policies, this, by the parents, by the companies too, you know to let them know how this kind of stuff works, and give as much as tools, like how Instagram is making Instagram teens accounts. So giving parents more information regarding what at least their children are not just watching, but also giving kind of a safety regarding, okay, this is at least safer than what it was before. Ultimately they can do this. I don't think just not letting them do one thing, the whole thing is going to solve their problems. you know so I hope this happens in a much more regulatory way. I don't think these companies will find, like, how I think they are heavily making stuff like, advertising themselves, but about privacy and stuff. But I do think that the campaigning, as like I said, the advertisement here in India is going insane regarding WhatsApp. So I hope, what I ultimately hope from this is the solution I given. Like, I don't want total ban, definitely, but I also don't want these problems to be hanging around. These problems of mental health due to social media platforms, cyberbullying, one of the worst kind of things can happen. And I hope people are more educated regarding it, especially parents, because if they are not, they just want, they are overprotective of their children. And if they know what the actual stuff can happen on the internet, and what and how to tackle it, they can give much more confidence to children and to themselves only, that this is okay and this is not okay. The communication is the key here, and I hope ultimately people gets it. uh, Now we will get the judgment in couple of months regarding what is going to happen, if they are going to ban it or not. There are two things that can definitely happen. One is ban, and one is not ban. Like, they can Instagram teens account, if they make it happen quite good and that is being used, I don't think then they will care about banning the main account, the main, because there will be other options like teens accounts. And I think if it gets banned, I think other countries will definitely see it, and see the results of what is going to be there of the ban first of all. And I think you never know what how it is going to change it, what new sets of problems it is going to create, because you have banned now certain things, and how new things are going to emerge, you never know. And if you are not prepared for that, I think you should think more to that than just doing making these harsh policies regarding something on the internet. First of all, that is at one even person, I don't think they even consult on any person who is on the internet who knows how internet works. They have consulted it, because if they have consulted any this kind of making ban total ban, they would have known the opposite, and definitely I will say the harsh truths, or the outcomes of it can be different. Like there will be definitely positive side, but there will be always a negative side, where people will can find another way to interact with and watch the ultimate things that they have want to watch, and do you wanted them not to watch it. So it is whole lot of a complex issue, like I always talk about. So I hope they get it, and like we will definitely cover when they ban it or not. And ultimately I hope like I will cover it. I will definitely cover it in next couple of months when the ultimate new news comes regarding this social media ban in Australia. And definitely other countries are definitely looking it, like especially UK, USA are looking forward to you know making this ban happen. We are also looking forward to what TikTok happens in the USA right now. you know like the deal is still not finalized. We still haven't got any news regarding deal, and I think the deadline even has been passed. I don't know what they are trying to do now. If it is gets banned, and if it's not gets banned, we will definitely talk about it. I have already said banning is not an option, but I hope, let's say what happens with the TikTok situation in the USA and this whole social media ban situation, what is happening in Australia. In next 2 or 3 months, we will definitely get the news regarding it. I don't know, the buzz is just low down. There is not kind of a big news regarding it. So let's just hope, and we will definitely cover it here on our podcast, and we will much more discuss much in detail regarding the topics of social media ban, and will the other countries will even adopt these social media bans especially for teens, and how the levels of ban can get increased in future, what content that can be, like I always say, like the words are always kind of an blurry, when they say they don't want misinformation to get spread. So what according to them is misinformation, and always there are complicated stuff in any kind of government that is happening, so yeah, like one party wants to give a judgment regarding something that is so bold that they want, because of that policy they want to win the next election. So lots of stuff that happens within the policies, it's not just they care about it, they also care about them too, that they want to win next election because of implement this. Like it is kind of an policy implement is kind of an getting votes of the people, and it is votes of the people that you promise them something, and if you want to get votes, those votes back again, you have to implement harsh policies, so at least one end of the group, that is parents, are happy, and some people who already wanted social media ban are happy, and they will definitely just come. So like I said, a lot of complicated layers when it comes to policy making, when it comes to these harsh bold decisions, you know so I hope you get it, and we will, like I said, I will talk more about how there are other options with age verifications. I will talk about other options about how we can make a social media and forcing these companies, like social media companies to make the culture better on the internet, at least giving tools regarding some basic stuff like happening, that is cyberbullying, which is worse happening, mental pressure, mental health, a lot of stuff, and I hope we can get the benefits of what connecting people all around the world, specifically in the niche stuff that people are get involved and find happiness in that stuff. And I hope we understand and let people understand what it means to have platforms, So I hope we will talk much about it in the next couple of episodes, next future episodes, in depth regarding it. So yeah, ChatGPT ChatGPT 5 got released last week by OpenAI. Now we will go according to their blog post that they have done. So basically, talking about more official stuff rather than going how good it is or how different it is from other models. I want to much more talk about the other stuff. Yeah. So ChatGPT 5, according to OpenAI, scores more in their health benchmark. So I don't know what is this benchmark. So I don't know what is this benchmark they are talking about. I saw it, and they have a couple of lot of kind of a documentation about how the health related stuff they talk about in that whole health benchmark blog they have written. I'm just concerned because I don't know because too much into it. So I will suggest uh, when it comes to health related questions, just be educated, just get into educated questions rather than say treating yourself from ChatGPT, which is again not, I will say, even recommended by OpenAI. According to them, in the blog post they talked about understanding the health related terms, reports of your own, like if you want to understand your reports that you have taken, samples, whatever, or even your conditions that you are going through. That is the best possible thing you can go and ask ChatGPT and break it down to your level of understanding. Treating and saying that ChatGPT is your kind of a physician is kind of a big deal. And even ChatGPT, OpenAI can't go this big right now, and they have said it. Don't use ChatGPT for like a general physician that you have. Use it just for information and health related questions that you are having for yourself or for personal use. Don't go and treat it yourself because it is not made for that. I will say that because we will talk more about in future about this, what is health benchmark they are talking about. I'm concerned about what health benchmark they're saying here because they have a lot of stuff there. Because I want to know when it comes to health, it is comes to riskier stuff, and even in like they do want to get into, I think in future, uh, personal assistance like a health care doctor just besides you. But at least for now, don't use ChatGPT to treat yourself. At least I will say to know more about it, definitely about your reports and health related conditions. That's the length I will suggest for you right now. Go for it. So yeah, that is one health related stuff that I want to say at first also. Now talking about ChatGPT 5. ChatGPT 5 is hard to find different, at least for me, because like I said, I'm not kind of an too much of an AI user. I do ask AI questions a lot, especially longer questions are happening, but those questions are more of a brainstorming questions. Like I said, like how should I do this? What do you think? Thinking questions are there, and for me, the older models, especially the last model, is actually good. Like I'm right now using Gork 4, ChatGPT. I think 4. I'm using 4.0 right now. Before this model was launched, before that, and I was using Gemini 2.5 Flash and 2.5 Pro, as far as I remember. Yeah, last week I used all three, and those models are pretty much good in their own way. I will definitely say, according to what I'm used. Like I said, I use it more of a brainstorming. So it is kind of an hard for me to get to know what is difference between last model and this model, because I haven't tested that much about this model, and we don't have a benchmark in this podcast about how we are going to test these models. We will have definitely a good benchmark for future. So I am trying to get we are making one of it right now. We are in a process, so at least for now. So at least for now, it is kind of an hard to get to know how what kind of difference is, at least for me to tell. But according to OpenAI, it is more of an empathic. It is more of an emotional. Gets the emotional state of what kind of questions you are asking in larger sense. It is much more clear, and again, and it is combination of all, you can say, deep research and all those models in one, where it is faster and better than before. So that is how OpenAI describe it. I will also link down the blog they officially posted on their website regarding ChatGPT 5. You can go see the difference between prompts they have given and what it was before and what it is now. You will get a clear idea what they are trying to say here. Like it is how it is more emotional to understand the human feeling from the questions basically. That's there. Now, regarding safety, they have done a couple of new stuff here. Now, before going towards safety, how they talk about, like again, biochemical harmful stuff that can be made from ChatGPT, like is bioharm that can, it is being tested by them. So there are now two kind of a layer in terms of testing. One is refusal model and the other is safe completions. So basically now, before it was refusal model, when it was just a refusal model kind of, and they used whenever you ask ChatGPT some clear things that you want to make that is harmful and which is not, and which is under the frame of or they have created, and it doesn't allow ChatGPT just refuse to do it. But it was easy to go around and make it even happen, to make ChatGPT confused and make your intentions unclear. So it is kind of an, easy to dodge it, user model. Now they have included the safe selection, as I can say, safe completions, which even if ChatGPT is unclear of what the person is trying to give, it will again refuse it, and again more clear answer will be given by ChatGPT is why it is refusing, and being transparent about why it is getting refused to give the answers to the specific questions that you are asking, which is again good, because you don't want that bad actors, bad actors to ultimately make those kind of stuff from it, which is again a whole lot of a different conversation, how it is easier to getting manipulate this chat gpt models, even AI models overall. Like how we talk about last week about god 4, how it is so much so easy, how much so it is easily to manipulate. Like we talked about how god 4, just because one single step or one single like that kind of a power to given to that one person is kind of an insane. Now this is the kind of an the both refusal and safe completion, which is going to help. Now again another stuff, like if you know, when ChatGPT 4 was announced, it was kind of an different behavior than other models, when ChatGPT announced. It was again, we also covered it back at those time. It was giving yes man kind of a behavior. It is giving more of an approval kind of an answers, to be objectively giving answers, regarding even opinionistic type answers, even any other kind of an answer. It is giving more of an yes man, giving approval kind of an answer. Now, Sam talked about those kind of stuff in the Cleo Abraham video, that is 1 hour interview she did about with Sam, which is again really good. I will recommend to go and watch it. Now, when Sam talked about it in that video, he said they want the model to do it because people like to get approved, like kind of an, they need kind of an approval, how the model gives them approval, kind of an satisfaction. But he again refused how they were doing it. It was in a wrong way, and that's why when ChatGPT 4.0 was doing it, in within I think first 24 hours they, from the released, and gave the model a couple of days to fine tune and change, and then released it again. So it was giving satisfaction, customer satisfaction for them, but it is not, like I said, like Sam said, like they don't want it to give in a this way. So it has been reduced. The psychophancy, the yes man kind of a behavior has reduced, but not completely gone. And I don't think it will be completely going to be gone because of how Sam talked about it, how people want approval kind of stuff. Those kind of stuff people like it. It is gives more customer satisfaction stuff, even if it is called doing misinformation regarding letting people know that they are right about it, which is again kind of a weird thing to talk about, weird thing to get into that direction if it is kind of an being in that way. So I hope it get reduced, not just to zero, but I don't want ChatGPT to make or to be just approve in my thoughts regarding something. I want the last episode how Gorg 4, I don't want it to be follow someone else's brain, not even mine. I want AI to have its own thoughtfulness. That's what it makes different than any other kind of technology or chatbot which was before. Rather than feeding ultimately what it is on its brain, it thinks. That's what it is separates them. And if they are reflecting the thoughts of our and doing yes man kind of a behavior, approving ourselves and the customers, that is me, that is not how going to people, that is not going to be helpful in a long term way, I think. you know I don't want, like I said, AI to be on a some one specific person, like how in the last episode we talk about how Gork 4 is the reflection of Elon Musk's thoughts, which is not great, like I talk about. So I hope they don't go into that direction. It is kind of a thing that needs to be dealt with. It is kind of a thing we need to talk more about, and we need to rigorously test these models. I need, like I said, I need to make kind of a really good test for these models, to test it more, to learn more about these models, how they are going to, because these models definitely can be manipulated even if they are so much so powerful, you know because they have their own restrictions and kind of another error stuff that can happen. But the S-man kind of an behavior has been reduced, the psychophancy has been reduced by OpenAI for now. At least we don't have any kind of cases like what happened in ChatGPT 4.0, at least for right now. It has been 1 week since the ChatGPT has launched. People are enjoying it, most probably, I will say. I have used 1 or 2 times when after the launch, where the ChatGPT 5, because ChatGPT 5 is available to all the default users. So basically, all free users get ChatGPT 5, which is has replaced all the older models. And ChatGPT 5 will Pro and Thinking model will be given to the paid users. So if you are a paid user, or just using ChatGPT 5, what are your initial thoughts? What different it is bringing to you compared to what older model was? Let me know in the comment section. Let's divert some of our conversation towards some of the questions that I talked about in the intro regarding AI and how companies are dodging it and how Sam is dodging it, first of all, you know. And I'm not surprised by people dodging it, especially companies, and Sam is, but I think it is one of the most important questions that is happening now. These are now problems, and some of them are future problems. Two most important questions were asked by Cleo. Again, like I talked in that interview, you can definitely go check it out. I will link that video in the description. So, too much more important questions she asked, that one of the question is happening right now, that is, what is AI and what is real? How are people going to recognize this? Like on the internet, especially, what is going to be real and what is going to be the fake? Sam answered to those questions was right and wrong in a way, you know. Like I like how he said, "How is anything real?" You know, and I don't think we have talked about in this podcast, but I have seen, like, if you are a waveform podcast viewer for a long period of time, they are talking about what is a photo or what is a real photo or what is manipulated photo, what is the extent towards how the photo is being manipulated, you know, and what is actually photo and what is edited photo. So this conversation has been happening for over the past. I've been part of this conversation for like past 6 years, 6 months, I will say. So I hope if you are not in the part of conversation, I will let you know what is it actually. So when Cleo asked this question about how what is even real, what is even fake, how we are going to decide, you know, Sam's answer to that question was, what is even real? You know, these cameras, like this iPhone camera that I'm shooting right now, does so many so kind of an processing for that photo, lighting, you know, tone, everything that is so much so processed. So the photo you are taking, is it even real? And yeah, he's right in that sense. But it doesn't mean that the photo that is taken and been slightly edited is same in the category of that the photo is generated totally from the AI, that is nothing makes sense of a real world, even if it is realistic in a real place, you know. Even if it's a real place, it makes nothing sense if the photo is generated real. And if we don't know if that photo is real or not, people will start to not believe anything that is happening on the internet. And I'm not just talking limited to internet, it can get into your life, it can get into the evidence. Like one of the biggest stuff that people talk about when Sora model was released, the model that is by OpenAI last year January, was uh, how are they going to prevent not just, like I'm saying, lookalike like celebrities or influencer or even persons, but how are they going to prevent some evidence? Like there is no preventing someone making fake evidences. Like how ChatGPT knows that what it is making is kind of being used as fake evidence. Like there were so many layers to it. You know, that's why it took 1 year them to launch officially or on the internet. It definitely has some restriction towards people, obviously, but like I said, it's just the start. You know, even the model, if this is the start of that model, it gets scary about how in next couple of years it's going to so unrealistic that people are going to forget if it's real or not. And it is happening to me right now, you know. People are talking about that bunnies videos from the internet in the in the backyard, in the trampoline on the video, but there are some videos which are so real that I feel like you know those jungle camps, you know, where the camera is put on the jungle, black and white, and the animal goes by. There are so many videos just like that, which is simple, not something happening extraordinary, But when I go to comment section, it is all being said it is made by AI, and that whole channel makes AI generated videos. And the reason why people got it is so many minor that at first glance you never know. So it has become so much so easier to generate AI generated slop that we talk on the internet. So things that are totally fake, things that are totally different, not as same as getting taken photo. Now we can definitely debate over what is actual real photo or what is actually not a real photo basically. Now due to this high efficiency cameras that I am recording right now, or cameras like mobile phones that are getting so better and better, you know the reason why people are having this debate over what is actually a real photo is because of a lot of processing and the involvement of Photoshop. When the Photoshop came a decade ago, I will say, you know, uh, people were making, like, it gave the power to the people to make whatever you want from their photo. You can change that photo from, uh, you can change literal person from that photo, objects from that photo. I totally photo coloring that's there. But the problem here is not we are talking about what is an edited photo. If photos are edited, are those even real photos? No, we are not even having that conversation. You know. So according to the Sam's logic, if the photo is edited, and how these high processing cameras here are getting taking photos which are not even real according to him, you know, which are as the same category as a photo that is totally generated from a fake pixels basically. you know Taking photos and doing Photoshop editing is a totally different thing. you know 90% of the time, like, even this video that is being processed, obviously what iPhone is trying to do at its best to give the best authentic look, it wants to give you at least in a raw file. Now you can get raw footages from your phone definitely. The reason why it does processing is because it is not as good as the DSLR cameras. Okay, that's why it has so much so lot of post processing even after you take photos. That's why you don't have that much kind of a control when you take photos from your phones. iPhone doesn't even have a pro camera setting. So what I'm trying to say here is ultimately making uh, saying that taking photo and editing it and making something different from it is the same category as photo that is being generated from fake, are totally different aspects. Okay, what the question of Chloe, what was the question actually is how are people gonna recognize what is AI generated or not? People know already that people who post on the internet is edited. Ultimately people who are trying to hide to make an authentic photo, we know that it is being edited. What we don't know now is that some people will post photos about something regarding something, even if their own is totally generated or fake. Now, one of the downsides of AI generated photo that I'm getting the feeling of right now, like the downside I mean by it, but the feeling I'm trying to sell here. When I see a photo, especially on, let's say, on Instagram, or I see a reel regarding something scenic, that is something so good that I got goosebumps, or that I got a shock value from how good the photo is. When I know it is real by someone taking that whole scenic shot, and I know that person has gone to that place, captured the photo and edited it and posted it. The photographer, the every photographer you can say. And same thing happens when I see a AI generated photo, let's say same scenic shot, same scenic image, edited, well edited, and now it's AI generated. I will always assume, if I don't know, then I will always assume that the photo that has in front of me is taken by someone. That's the general idea of what a photo is. Photo is something that is taken by the person that at that moment and capture the memory of it and edited it different due to Photoshop and other stuff to make it different according to his taste user. So what I'm trying to say here is I will always assume that what is in front of me is real and that is in the real moment. Now, obviously, in one of those questions, two of those examples, one is already AI generated, and when I get to know that one of them is AI generated, my feelings to that photo, which is AI, totally different now. I'm like, oh, that is a cool AI generated image, but at least when I know it, when it's AI generated, I don't have the same feeling as. So what I'm trying to say here, at least from my feelings here and what people feel here, is AI generated photos, or you will say slog, whatever you are generating from AI generated is not the same as the photo that has been taken and edited. Totally different spectrums, you know. And it's just, I'm talking about things like this where scenic photography is happening, something videos that has been made. I'm not even talking about stuff like uh, about how AI photos of celebrity look like, AI generated videos of celebrity look like are being made, you know. About how Gorg, the new AI generated from Gorg, is making their spicy mode basically is getting so much so bad, is making lookalike, and even making videos of celebrities of whatever you want to make. You know, I just saw the Verge article and the video from a Verge where it where Gork has a spicy mode where it makes people naked, especially celebrities, without even asking that, without even digging too much into it. So I think it should, like, if that is the case happening openly with Gork, at least right now, and people are, and I am getting, even as a person who is in the industry, who knows tech well, who is talking about AI stuff here and there, I'm getting difficult to sometimes find a spot. Then what is in next couple of years, how these AI models are getting so much so stronger that we will be not be able to recognize what is actually real, what is not, and we should able to know it, you know. And there are different solutions to it. Definitely are, you know, watermark system is there. I'm not just talking about that one watermark that is generated by AI. I'm talking about metadata. So there are a lot of stuff I have already written on my newsletter last year, how AI generated photos can be, you know, or even, you know, can be get have kind of a proof that is AI or real. So I was hoping from Sam that at least he should be talking about, you know, about how they are gonna tackle this. And when he gave the answer regarding about how everything is going to be, what is even real, I lost just my. I was just pissed about how little he thinks about this major stuff that is happening right now on the internet and will grow and more. There are some things when these AI companies do this, give these powerful tools and don't think about repercussions of it, how bad as how bad it is going to be. So I hope. Then another question was asked by Cleo regarding now is what is going to be job looking in future? What is the job spectrum if AI is kind of a new era in this? Now the question was asked brilliantly by her, you know, like about how 10 to 15 years ago we can't even imagine what kind of jobs we are doing right now. Like what I'm doing right now wasn't possible 10 to 15 years and wasn't even that kind of a resourceful job where it was. Now it has become one of the most biggest, I will say, opportunities right now in the world to make content creation, especially YouTube. Through YouTube, like YouTube is kind of a big thing now. About 10-15 years ago we didn't know these jobs would have existed, like video editors. thumbnail designers, the job of a thumbnail designer, is just because of YouTube. You know how it has become more and more important. You know, thumbnail editors, thumbnail designers, editors, producers. Now even channels, YouTube channels are getting producers. Executive producers. So these jobs wouldn't existed before YouTube. Like they existed, but not in this level of skill. What I'm trying to say here and what she tried to say is, I don't know what kind of, like, we couldn't imagine this kind of job existed a couple of decade ago. Now, what is going to be the jobs about going to be in next 2030, 2035, in next decade? How AI is changing the whole industry and what jobs it will be creating. Like how people are openly talking about how AI is going to take a lot of jobs, especially the first industry it is going to go is for the IT sector, which is actually building AI. So it is ironic, but the IT sector is first industry that is going to get affected by AI. So slowly, it is going to get affected, and more AI is going to incorporate in their work. But if AI is the new kind of a revolutionized technology, what is going to be the job spectrum in next decade or two? You know, and I was hoping some kind of thoughtful answers from Sam, but he was clueless regarding it. And I'm again was disappointed by his answers. He juggles, like he tries to divert those kind of questions, and he, I don't know how well they are thinking about this kind of questions, about how the job spectrum is going to look, about how you know what the problems are going to be of AI and how they are going to solve it. The now problems, the they are not even solving the problems that are happening right now. What is going to be then in the future of regarding this kind of solution? So that is big kind of a thing when Sam, one of the biggest influence Sam, one of the biggest person who is influencing the tech industry, I will say, and doesn't even know how the invention of what they are trying to make, that is AI, is going to affect the industry. I hope we should talk more about it. We should talk more about how, I think, we are talking about it like for past 6 months, but I was hoping from the people who are in the stuff on daily basis, talking more about it, about in depth, about how they think the industry is going to look like in 10, 15 years, and they don't have a clue. They are just trying to be on the flow here. They don't get kind of, and they don't know what they are trying to build here. Sometimes I feel like they don't know how the repercussions of it will happen. Like I said, there are always going to be kind of an repercussions, like even Chloe talked about in that video, about in that interview, about how every revolutionize in the industry brings some kind of problems, and we miss, and we are trying to cover up this map, cover up that whole maze with new sets of solutions. So what is going to be the new problems with this whole AI? What is going to be the new jobs with this whole new AI? We don't even know, and I think we should be talking about it more, and we should be thinking about it more. And I get so mad about how these people who are in this industry don't take this question seriously, you know and I want them to take it seriously, this kind of stuff in future. What I'm trying to say. So Meta is trying to make a personal super intelligence. When in the intro I saw talked about how just in a small side what Meta is trying to make personal super intelligence. Like, yeah, I was joking, and because I did the reason I joke about it is because I didn't get it. That's it. I didn't get what Mark was trying to say in that whole you can say blog he posted about it. What they're trying to do. It's a classic business strategy, I will say. Trying to do like, even in that whole article, he talk about how others are trying to automate everything and telling us how we are going to live in the automated world. I get what he is trying to do. Meta approach to whole AI is totally opposite from other companies what are trying to do. What Gemini and OpenAI is trying to do. Meta's approach is different, that they are going with open sourcing system, and they are making super intelligence. So uh, if you know, if you are on the internet for past 2 months, Meta is poaching poaching basically employees from OpenAI to give a to give them whatever salary they want to work on super intelligence they are trying to make in Meta. And they won't try to make it like I said, uh, what I said, and they were not even hiding it, like we are pushing it, like they were hiding it. And like I was like, what is the goal of super intelligence here? And when Meta made a statement regarding super intelligence, I still didn't get it. I will talk more about it in the future, definitely. We will even talk about more in the next episode, next Friday. But I didn't get what Meta was trying to do there, with super intelligence. I even after I read whole the blog article of Meta of about from Mark. But I don't know, I'm burping too much. But it's a classic business strategy, I will say. It's a classic business strategy. It's a classic business strategy going opposite from what the other competitors are doing. When others are building closed source, he's trying to make open source. He's always saying that for past 2 years. He is always kind of an opposite towards the wave. And I think he wants to be on the open source side this time. But I feel like, when Meta on super intelligence, I was not clear what they are trying to make, and I'm still not clear. That's why I didn't get too much time in this episode too. About, like, we are not talking that much deep regarding OpenAI, sorry, about Meta of super intelligence. But we are gonna talk about another thing that Meta has achieved a milestone, I will say, but it has surpassed Threads, the another social media platform of theirs, has surpassed 400 million active subscribers, as far as I know. Yeah, till last week there are 400 million active subscribers, active accounts on Threads, which is one of I am using Threads on I am on the Threads from the first day it has started. So I know fully what was going on the first couple of years and now. And I will say it's definitely their approach has made it much more different than what they wanted to start. And they even admitted it in the post done by Adam Missouri, when he talked about uh, threads started because of how they wanted to give a competition to Twitter, to just, it was kind of a rip-off of Twitter. He talked about, like he said it literally in the threads post. I will link it in the description too. You can go see it. I'm not saying that stuff just in the air, but my first post on threads was how it is just a rip-off of Twitter, and I get what Meta is trying to do here. And even Twitter, like X, Elon Musk, even I think so. Threads, I don't know where it got them. I didn't get any update and didn't want it to even cover it. It's like Elon Musk is suing a lot of people, to track all of his stuff. Like he's even suing Apple now, because of how Apple is promoting OpenAI, in their chart. Like I was like, I don't want to waste my time there, at least for now. So, but definitely when the first threads was started, it was definitely all of the users were from Instagram, because it was threads was linked to your Instagram most probably. So when people started, you need to have threads, you need to have Instagram account to have threads. Then now it has become kind of an its own separate app, and it has its own separate team, kind of, and how Adam talked about, like we talked about in the last episode too. And now they are giving features full fully, I will say, the now, like, I think not like 2 months ago, the just DMs have started on the threads, all the other stuff like spoiler or hide picture, a lot of other stuff that has been now on the threads, that should have been from the start for a proper social media platform, but it did not. And it is become more and more apart from Instagram, which I'm liking more. You know, one thing I like about is it's already know what I like, because of my Instagram account linked with it. So the algorithm knows what I want, knows what it needs to feed me. So that is a one positive thing about threads, and it has not disappointed me, I will say. Even the following page and the for you page, both. So I will say it is definitely better than Twitter right now. Same as level of what Blue Sky offers me right now, which is again a lot of other communities and a lot of other moderation, type of content you want to see. So that is there. Threads, like I said, becoming more and more independent, which I really liked. I think in future more and more people, the reason why I think 400 milestone doesn't look kind of a much, I think now people are actively using threads, I will say, because of, I think, Elon Musk and how X and how X, like that is Twitter, is getting handled. And I don't think if Twitter doesn't improve much in future, a lot of people will migrate from, I will say, Twitter to not just threads, I will say. Blue Sky is there for the competition, I believe. And like I said, I wanted another app, social media app, like I really want to something disrupt everything, like especially I want to Instagram to get disrupt if they are not making it right. But ultimately what I'm saying here is I want more updates from threads, because Twitter is not making any kind of progress, especially in the for you page. It is getting bad and bad here, even after giving so many mutes, blocks to specific accounts, it doesn't get improved. So I hope we much our audience gets much more diversified, which I like much more than just getting news from one, and much more relying on the one platform, that is X. And I also don't want to rely on certain platforms too. But the problem with the getting diversified with the audience diversity, like having multiple options is always right. That is what I'm trying to say. Like when we have like if you wanna use like similar to Twitter, it is always Threads, Mastodon, and Blue Sky. But there is no alternative to Instagram, that is now specifically a photos app. We definitely need a photos app for photographers or just people who wants to see just photos, nothing more than that. Just photos and DMs. If someone makes it, I'm definitely using it. If someone is making it. But yeah, so in Threads, that milestone they have passed. Uh, Instagram new feature, that is repost and maps. Again a ripoff of Snapchat. A classic example by Mark Zuckerberg, that is ripping off the features from Snapchat, the stories from Snapchat, now the maps. But one thing I don't understand, like ripping off is one thing, that they are trying to make maps on Instagram, and Instagram is getting, like I said, so much cluttered in comes when it comes to space. Like it has photos, it has reels, it has stories, it has DMs, now maps. I think in future they will also get also rip off the Snapchat's streak options, where you send photos to your friends, kind of, and DMing them. That is like Snapchat has that, lot of people use it. I'm like, yeah, what are you then going to rip off from Snapchat? So the new map feature is again same as similar. The close friend of people, like close people people you wanna let you know where your location is, those kind of stuff, where the last time you opened the Instagram app. That's it. The second feature, that is a repost, which is again similar to what Twitter has, what Threads has, what again Reddit has, I will say, or even I think TikTok has too, but I don't like it. It is one of the worst features that Instagram has become given. Even worse than, I will say, Reel, or even worse than the Map one. See, Map is already good. People who want to share them, they can show it. One of the worst thing about repost is, you all like, I am one of those feed scroller on the Instagram feed, and whenever I watch a reel, I want to know what is in the comment section. It has happened at least minimum 2 to 3 times daily for past 2 days, past 2 to 3 days, and I'm using the repost feature with the Instagram with repost feature. I have reposted so many random stuff. Sometimes I have to check daily now because I'm in fear I might repost something that I don't want to repost, and it's so bad, and it doesn't even ask you if you want to repost or not. If you even accidentally click on that repost button, it's gone. It's been, then you have to go to your own profile. You have to see what you have actually reposted, and then you have to, if you accidentally reposted something there, it comes there and you are like unreposting everything that you have done. It's so bad. At least let us know what you are actually reposting, that is on our, that goes on our profile. It is so bad, you know that is happening, and a lot of people hate it. And also, like, I even made a post yesterday on Threads regarding how bad the repost feature is. At least let the person who is reposting, that is me, if I, even if I accidentally click on repost, to let me know, that give me a confirmation option. Do you want to confirm to repost it or not? So at least I know that I accidentally click on repost, and that I don't want to repost it. And if I want to repost something, I will definitely repost and confirm it. But so many times has happened to me. So many of my friends, when I go to the friends section, have been repost done by them. I'm like, wow, it's so bad. Like, I'm scrolling so carefully now. It's like become a kind of in fear for the past 2 days. It's like I'm like, on daily basis before going to sleep, I check my all profile on Instagram is something I have reposted or not. So what I'm trying to say ultimately is a bad feature implementation. Again, a classic Instagram. They have done so many times something about implementation. They do so many experiments with the stuff, and ultimately what audiences want is not that bad amount of fuck up from them, but ultimately from what creators want is just to let the audience know, just let their post be seen by audience. That's the ultimate thing that people want from the creators, what from the Instagram, that is they're not doing it. And I'm like, what is happening there is because of their own nonsense they're trying to make, just that is making so much dense. I get what they are trying to make of the Instagram. They are trying to make it more interactive. They're trying, because Instagram can see more of an, I will say, a platform where I'm not easily posting stories, I'm not easily posting photos on my profile, where it comes to Threads, where it comes to, even Twitter, I easily interact with the post, quote it, reposted it, retweet it, even a post regarding something I want to say. It doesn't happen on Instagram, and that's why they are trying to give so many features, and that they are focusing what the how you can make people stay on your platform and use it. And I'm like, that's not the point of your platform. Your platform has lost the point 3 years ago when you guys launched Reels. 3 years ago, 4 years ago when you guys launched the Reels. The platform was totally based on only photos. And I know Reels have given different kind of creators some kind of thing, but at least make a good distinction between what is, where are Reels, where are photos. It has become so cluttered that my Instagram usage is kind of in couple of days. Like, I don't use sometimes days what is happening on the Instagram. I need to know. because my only interaction on Instagram on daily basis is to get to know what my friends have DM'd me, and that's it. And then check my profile. Nothing more than that, because it becomes so much on your face, that so much reels, so much photos, stories to do and check it out. I just don't check it sometimes if I don't have time, because it's the UI has become so much so tense that I don't want to even use it. I think a lot of people will be having that problem. Let me know if you are having facing the same problem of Instagram. And I said it before. If you make just photos separate from the Instagram and give a special section where I just want to see photos, give me that. I just want to see photos sometimes. There are so many photographers I follow that I don't even see, because there are so many ads in between, and there are so many reels in between those photos. So that is the problem I'm having. That was just a rant, but again, that repost feature implementation is horrible. I hope they change it and give us a confirm button to what post. If they do it, glad Adam do something about it. So yeah, that's Instagram for you. uh One interesting thing happened that I that happened, I think, last week. That Google roasted Apple. I think that is not the first time I'm saying it, but or even the first time that is happening, but happening because it is kind of an ongoing joke we are talking about, and ongoing stuff is happening with Apple and the AI problems they are having. I will link down the commercial they made about Apple joke, about how they talk about the delay of an feature that is specifically AI, and they specifically delayed. How they talk about it has been delayed for 1 year. You can just, like, that whole commercial was so good. Yeah, I had to repost it. You can check that on any other platform that has been posted, but I will link down the threads account post by Pixel, because Pixel 10 is getting launched this month, which is on the last week of August, I will say. I'm excited for Pixel 10. Pixel Fold has also been launched officially, and Pixel 10 too. So yeah, I will go see and go check it out. But yeah, that is it for, I think, this week episode of the TechGuy podcast. Think about the couple of points we talked about age verification, about how OpenAI should be talking more about stuff like questions like what is AI, what is not. They should be actually actively participating in it, and they are not, and which just gets me mad, and I'm like, gets my mood off. But yeah, uh, let's we will definitely talk about those stuff in future. We will definitely not, this is not the first time we are going to talk about this. We are going to talk about more solutions regarding age verification. What are the things that can happen, what culture shift that we can make on the internet to make internet safer place, at least. you know and I hope platforms social media platforms make effort from their side. Let's see what happens in future. We will talk about more about it, those kind of questions. Let me know your thoughts regarding it. I want more perspectives in it. If you are from that age group, if you get to know that you won't be able to use social media from tomorrow, what your perspective is. If you see, if you kind of know that, what is your different perspective, like, if you are in favor or not, if you have something in it different, let me know down in the comment section. That they are that for a reason. The comment section is there for a reason. So please let me know your thoughts regarding OpenAI ban of, and the future of social media on general basis. Yeah, and about what Instagram should do about that repost board. That is the important thing. Let me know what you think about that repost feature. I hate it. Just let me know what I'm reposting in Instagram. So this is it for this week episode of the Tech Guy podcast. I will see you guys in the next week. See ya.